Okay. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christy Berganzi. Thank you for joining us. If you are over on Facebook and the audio is okay for you, please give me a thumbs up and we will get started. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Christy Berganzi. I am a Reiki Master Energy Healer teacher, and I'm also a higher self embodiment and intuitive living coach. I help spiritually curious women who are ready for a life change, not just wanting a life change, but ready for that life change, find a real sense of home and fulfillment within themselves through spiritual skills, such as higher self-embodiment, and practical tools such as intuitive living that we're going to talk a ton about in 2024 and a little bit about today, so that you never have to second guess yourself, your choices, your value, or even your life purpose ever again. So that is my mission. My purpose is to help you find your purpose, but more so to find your fulfillment and home within yourself and be confident in the decisions that you're making in your new life. Hopefully that will be starting in 2024. So without further ado, let me pull up our slides here and we'll get cracking on the intuition workshop. Bear with me. All right, here we go. All right, intuition activation. So today what we are going to talk about are 7 different psychic abilities, intuition abilities, and what they mean and look like for you. We're also going to talk about myths and how to get started in this intuitive living realm. I'm going to walk you through it and allow it to not be a scary place. This is my home. I live in my intuition. And once I started, the way I see it is that my ego used to drive my life bus. As soon as I set my ego back to where it's supposed to go, in the back of the bus. Now, keep in mind, there are parts about my ego that are great, that don't hold me back. The excitement, the adventure, all of those aspects are part of my ego as well. But everybody needs to take a back seat to my intuitive soul, who knows how to drive the bus, who leads me to those places in life and those choices that better serve me. And I do that by listening to my higher self, which is the bigger part of me that I use to translate into to speak with my soul. So my higher self is the bus driver's map. My higher self, through intuition and learning how to receive the messages, my soul can receive information such as, maybe if you go down this choice of street, there might be some road construction, some difficulty. If you choose this, it feels a little bit easier. If you choose this path, it's a little bit more exciting, but maybe troublesome. And then it's left for me, my soul, with my egos in the back, my soul to translate into what would better serve me. So psychic abilities, I'm not in the camp of fortune telling and predicting, because as you'll see later, that's not even really possible with everyone having free will. But when you tap into your intuition, you start speaking to your higher self through higher self embodiment. And I'll teach you in January a very specific method to have direct access to that seventh dimension where your higher self, the bigger part of you, all of your energy lives. When it comes down and gives you that information, remember, we're leading from our soul. Our soul gets to make a decision, keeping our egos in the back of that bus. And that's when you start living your purpose. That's when you start living your authentic self. And that's when you start feeling fulfilled and at home from within. It's an inside job. So what are psychic abilities and intuition? First off, let's ask, I want you to ask yourself a question right now. How are you doing? How do you feel? What are you looking forward to this weekend? Okay. Keep those answers in your mind, and we're going to re-ask those again at the end, but we're going to do it in a little bit different way. And let's see what the difference is. So psychic power is the ability to perceive cues and information from beyond the physical world, beyond the material, beyond the density that we have here. Like what I was talking about, the higher self lives in the seventh dimension, lighter, higher, very accessible if you know how to tap into that. And psychic powers allow you the ability to perceive those cues, those subtleties. Intuition is the ability to tune in and gather that information, even if there is no logical facts to support it. It truly is our sixth sense. We receive our intuition. Our strongest intuitive tool is our heart. We don't receive intuition through our mind or our brain. It's a feeling, it's a sensation. And we perceive that, and then it's up to us how to translate it. And that's when it gets a little bit tricky on, is that me or my intuition? And that's why it takes practice. It's not difficult, but it definitely takes practice. So how do you start intuitive living, and what really is it? It's the ability to understand something immediately without need for conscious reasoning, and living by that stress-free guidance. Intuitive living, which is how I do my daily living now, it starts off every morning with meditation. I don't wake up and just walk into intuitive living. I have to prepare myself, set myself up, and set my intentions for the day. But that's kind of a small ask for living the rest of my day stress-free through my intuitive guidance that I perceive through my senses and use in my best and highest good. I don't even have to question anything anymore. And I don't. And I get to live stress-free as much as possible. Definitely have stressors in life. We all do. I'm not saying that. I'm not pretending that I'm perfect and that I don't get stressed out, but I do live in a flow. Do you live in a flow? Another question, do you get gut feelings? Or maybe you're thinking about someone and then they call, or you get a message from them. Do you ever start driving someplace and you're like, oh, all of a sudden you turn left when you maybe were or should have gone right, right? And then there was a reason for that. Maybe you don't even know what the reason was and you avoided something over here on the right. But you're in flow and you don't even question it. You don't have to. You don't always have to have the answers for everything. I always thought I needed the answers so that I felt safe, secure, and protected. I don't need to have the answers today, and it's a very freeing feeling. So what if you could know the answers to your life's questions? Okay. So now here are, what if you could know the answers? What if, how would your life be different? If you were able to access information to lead you to make your decisions, how would that make your life different today? You're in flow, right? So we're not questioning anything. We come up to something that, gosh, all right, this is a life decision. Or, I mean, it could be, do I want a chicken sandwich or a salad for lunch? I mean, I don't know. So now we have these questions. Wouldn't it be amazing if we're able to tap into our intuitive higher self embodiment, have direct access intentionally to gather information to make a better, easier decision on big and small things? Like, how would that make your life different? Think about it. Honestly, think about it. This isn't just a rhetorical question. Put it down in the comments. I love to see, I'm checking right now. I'd love to see all of your comments and hellos. Put it down. Let's talk about it. That's what this group is for. If you don't belong to our Soul Shifters group and you're watching this on replay, I'll put a link in here for you to be able to connect with us over in our Soul Shifters group. So we're going to hop into it. The 7 different psychic abilities or intuitive skills. The first one is clumped into 4 because they are considered clairs. They are how our physical senses relay intuitive messages. Okay, so over here you see the site, that's clairvoyance. A lot of people think that clairvoyance is just being psychic and predicting the future, and clairvoyance is a word that most people just assume is the all-encompassing, you're psychic. But what it really means is that you receive intuitive messages through images, a lot of dreaming clairvoyants, dream a lot. They're visual people. And if you think about it, I'll wait till we're done with the 4 clairs because I'm going to have a question for you. And then that might help you better determine which one is more of a strength for you. So visual, if you close your eyes and you pretend there's a whiteboard erasing and you ask a question and the answer or information pops up as an image, this is clairvoyance. It's vision. It's through the 3rd eye. Okay. And in January, I'm going to be going way more in depth with the clairs, and this is just a brief overview. The next one is clairsentient. So clairsentient is feel. You feel the vibrations. Like, how does your vibe feel today? So everything is going to come through to you intuitively. Like, I'll have a client walk in and sometimes it's stronger than others, but sometimes I'm like, oh gosh, what's going on with your left shoulder? Or, oof, gut punch. Like, who hurt your self-esteem this week? What's going on there? And I'm physically feeling what they're feeling. They might not even be feeling it yet because we've suppressed our emotions down so much as human beings just for survival. Sometimes the person doesn't even feel it and I can feel it, and then we get into it. But so clairsentience is feeling. Clairaudient, hearing. So you might hear like an inside reading voice. It's not you thinking and talking to yourself, because that takes your brain working. Intuition does not come from your brain. It comes from your energetic mind. But if you hear turn left, or you should do this, or don't do that, sometimes you'll hear stop or go, or that's clairaudient. Claircognizant is the clear knowing. So sometimes you just know without having to explain yourself. You don't know why. You walk into a job interview and you just are like, oh, I got this. And all of a sudden your nerves calm down. and you just know you're gonna get it. Another example is last week, my husband and I were picking up food, and we got in the car, and I didn't even think of it. This was not me. It came out of my mouth. Check to make sure there's chocolate milk in there for our kid. And I didn't think before saying that out loud. That was my claircognizant coming out. It's just knowing. Sure enough, he checked the bag and there was no chocolate milk. So now here's a quick little exercise. Close your eyes, just so that we take everything in the room around you out of the equation. Close your eyes. If you were to give or receive directions, how do you tell people where to go? Or how do you better understand when they're telling you? Do you say, it's down this street, down this street, down this street, and you line it up? Or do you say, when you hit the fire station, you're going to make a left and you're going to go over the bridge? Start thinking about how you communicate with people. How do you learn when you were in school, or if you're still in school, if you went back to school? Do you like the teacher to write things on the board? That's more clairvoyant. Do you like to hear? Do you need to hear? That's claircognizant, or clairaudient, I'm sorry, clairsentient. Do you want to have that one-on-one with them, so you kind of are very engaging? That's an easy way to kind of start getting familiar. So the clairs, the physical senses depict to you the intuitive perceived messages or information. That's what the clairs are. They're huge, and we get into it further in January. But the second out of the 7 is channeling. So this is simply the transfer of perception through the mind, not the brain, the mind, that's your energy, to interpret. So this is where psychic mediums come into play. So it's the in between receiving the messages. Now, keep in mind, these messages usually come through the clairs, right? So that's why the clairs are kind of the most important to like focus on. But all of these other abilities are available to us, and this is how we use our strongest clair or clairs. So you transfer that perception through your mind from spirit. So this is left up for interpretation, because it does have to go through then your ego. There are different, more pure ways, and one of which is embodiment channeling, where the person actually sets their egoic self aside and allows their physical form as a vessel for spirit to channel through. An example is Abraham Hicks being channeled through Esther Hicks. The person doing the embodiment channeling really does set themselves aside. And a lot of times when this happens to me, and I just physically, I visualize myself moving to the side, and then I just keep talking. A lot of times the person doing this doesn't even know most of what they said when that energy pulls back and their ego kind of takes their physical self back. And there's different degrees, right? So, I'm not going to walk around like someone else, but I can transfer through channeling the person. Now, this is different than clairaudient. I'll show you an example, because I do have spirits or my higher self come through. Those are two different things. Loved ones loved ones from the other side, or my spirit guides. Also, when I'm doing intuition and channeling through them, that's different than channeling my higher self, myself. but I am very clairaudient, so I do hear a lot. That's different than channeling. Channeling really is, it's just a direct line through. So direct channeling versus the pure embodiment. The third out of the 7 is precognition. This is what people think of a traditional fortune teller. Well, here's the thing with precognition. Again, it will come through whatever your strongest clairsent is, right? But what precognition is being able to foresee the future in some way. But the catch here is if everybody stays on the same energetic path that they are. We all have free will, and at any given time, we have different timelines and paths that we can choose. But if someone is not going to step out of their norm autopilot and continue down the path of not consciously making a life change, then someone can do a precognition. They can predict what's going to happen if everything stays the same. Now, this goes completely out the window if one of the players in this future prediction, that's why I don't like to do it. Predictions mean that fate and destiny are set in stone, and that's just not the case. You come here, your higher self splits off a part of you, her soul essence, that's your soul who embodies this human, right? We're a spiritual being having a human experience with a life archetype and purpose. But on that, as we grow, we have multiple paths towards that purpose. Some are higher frequency than others, but we always have free will. And if we allow our ego and our fight or flight and our fear of life get in our way, we're going to stay on one path. But we have multiple paths. At any given time, we can completely change our life. Another form of psychic ability is actually energy healing. Now, this psychic ability is translated through the use of energy, usually through the hands, but it doesn't have to be. That's to receive messages and to change the vibrational energetic system of a person, place, or thing. So that psychic translation is more energetic opposed to verbal or messages. It's for physical, a lot of times physical health, healing, clearing, balancing, that sort of thing. I don't want to get too much into that because, again, we do teach Reiki Level 1 self-healing in the Soul Shifters community. Just DM me for a link for that if you're interested in learning actual energy healing and becoming your own self-healer or to heal others. So the 5th is astral projection. What the heck is that? It sounds crazy, right? All right. Astral projection is that energetic mind traveling outside of the physical form, okay? Our conscious mind takes a little venture. Usually, now this is considered a psychic ability because if people practice it, they can do it when they're not sleeping. Most of the time, our astral projection happens every single night. We just don't remember it, but our conscious mind remembers it. Our subconscious does not. Sometimes we remember our dreams, and sometimes they're to inform us. A lot of the time, the purpose for dreaming, astral projection in dreams, is to prepare ourselves in some way, gather information for something that's coming up. So we do a lot of learning without even knowing. And if you have deja vu, a lot of times it's just your conscious awareness and your subconscious going, oh, wait, oh, yeah, I remember this. Oh, I got prepared for this. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. That deja vu is usually an astral projection that we once had. You're like, oh, okay, I remember. But we can hone in on this and project our consciousness in meditations, soul journeys. I do a ton of soul journeys with myself and my clients, where you're literally leaving your physical body behind, and you're going on an astral journey. It's not scary. And you probably do it more than you actually think that you're doing it. So with practice, it's an amazing tool. I love to do it. I love to astral project during, especially meditation. Usually those are soul journeys, and it takes a while, but you can collect soul fragments back from past traumas, past lives of yourself, and you do all sorts of amazing things with astral projection. The next one is telepathy. This is mind to mind. Thoughts. So the thoughts are transferred from mind to mind. This is actually what being psychic is. Psychic is not the ability to predict the future. That's what you would see as the going back to the precognition. That would be the most like fortune telling. But telepathy is basically just being psychic. And all psychic really means is being able to read the energy in the moment. That energy also includes someone's mind, their thoughts. You're connecting your energetic mind with their energetic mind. We try to do this intentionally and respectfully by asking permission. But a lot of times, if you're sensitive to intuition and psychic abilities, you're doing this not knowing that you're butting into someone else's thoughts. And a lot of times you mistake them for your own. That's why if you're around someone that maybe isn't the best influence, a lot of times when you're not around them, your thoughts are different than when you are around them, because you're actually picking up on their mind and they're rubbing off on you, and you don't even realize it. So the last one, just want to make sure we have them all. The last one is automatic writing. So I love this. This is a form of channeling, but it's an ability. So this is in its own category, even though it is my favorite way to channel intuitive messages. You literally sit down with a journal and a pen. I try to stay away from typing because it doesn't give you that same somatic, intuitive living experience. Because remember, intuition is our senses and feelings, right? It's not our mind. So we want to give ourselves something to do and feel it, instead of like being so overstimulated by the computer that you're in front of. And all you do is you start writing. I set my intention to do intuitive writing, and just start writing whatever comes to mind. Pretty soon you're going to, or maybe pick a topic and then just start writing on the topic. But because you have given the green light intuition, which I'll talk about red light, green light, and white light in a few minutes, then you're already setting off the process to start. And pretty soon during your writing, you're going to realize it's not really even you writing the information that you were wanting to gather information about, but it was being channeled through you with the tool. So the skill is channeling, and the tool is that automatic writing. The myths. What are the myths? We've all heard that a few of these. Some of us believe that you have to be born with a psychic ability. We all are psychic. We all have the intuitive capability. It's just like anything else, though. Some people are better at certain things naturally, but everyone can practice and learn anything. So you don't have to. Well, for one, we're all born with psychic ability. So there you go. You were born with it. You were, this is who you were. When we were birthed, we had psychic amnesia. A lot of our memories of our psychic abilities were taken away from us so we could have that human experience. And so we're starting to find our intuition again as we get older, and we start to feel that desire from our heart, our gut, towards reclaiming our spirituality and reclaiming our higher soul self. Another myth is that it's evil or demonic or scary. Unfortunately, how it started, everyone was intuitive. No one second guessed it. And unfortunately, with the organized religion, that was a way for them to, now I'm not against any religion by any means. To be honest with you, anytime I travel anywhere, I love to visit churches, mosques, whatever, temples. I love to go in them all because that's always a place of prayer for me. And I'm very connected to it. So I have nothing against religion. I'm just simply explaining a lot of where this fear came from is because in order to keep people needing them, organized religion separated your spirituality and your intuition apart from needing them to be there and your go-between, which we don't need anyone to be our go-between, our intuition, our higher self at all. And a lot of these are myths about it being evil or demonic. And that's right now the state of the world. We're really making a big transition back to more spirituality, intuitive living, and connection with our higher self, somatic, higher self embodiment, and energy healing, and all of that beautiful, these beautiful gifts that we have. And why not take advantage of them? And the last thing is that it's difficult to do. It's not difficult to do at all as long as you are shown what to do and you practice, just like anything else. So I am going to teach you a 4-step process to learning how to work with your intuition. So I'll take a screenshot of this and put it below so that you know what this process is. I'm going to go through each one, and then we're going to do a little exercise and practice a little bit. So the first one is quieting your mind. In order to, let me give you an example. You're at a concert, you're having a really good time, the music's going, your friends are around, it's super noisy, having a blast, you're really in the middle of being in life. And then your best friend, who has some really important news to tell you, and it's for your best and highest good, taps you on the shoulder and whispers something to you very important. You're gonna maybe not even hear him or her, or you're gonna be like, what? I don't understand. Oh, okay, you know what? I'm busy right now. So intuition comes through subtlety, and it comes through our body. And if our mind isn't quiet, we have a very, very difficult time receiving the messages. So quieting our mind is the first step. And that is mainly done, if you want to practice this, it's meditation. I highly suggest, if you're just starting off with meditation, going to YouTube, finding 2 to 5 minute guided meditation to start off. That's the easiest way to start meditation. Or you can sit quietly and just listen to your breath. But if you are not used to meditating on a regular basis, do not try to jump into some hour meditation practice. Start simple, 2 to 5 minutes a morning, each morning, just sit outside. So, and that leads me to number 2, connect in with your body. It is necessary for you to be connected with your body to receive these messages, because they do not go through your brain or your mind. They come through your senses. So in order to do that, you practice by going out in nature, dancing, breathing, feeling where you have some tension in your body, getting used to asking yourself, how do I feel today? So quieting our mind, tapping into our body. How do I feel today? And again, we're going to ask these questions at the end. Number 3 is focus on your senses. So now, see, all of this can go into one straight practice. Focus on your senses. Here's a pro tip. So we're talking about physical human senses, not our sixth sense, which is our psychic sense. Pro tip, when we are practicing on elevating our senses, the reason why we do that is so that we can be able to receive the messages, whether it be through hearing, feeling, sensing, knowing. You have to practice that. But we receive over 90% of our information to then be processed through our brain through our sight. So we just want to eliminate that. So we're not going to practice sight, but closing your eyes and for 2 minutes, sit outside. That connects in with number 2. And quiet your mind. There's number 1. And listen. What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you smell? What do you know is happening right now? And just really focus on it. If you start listening to the birds, 5, 6 blocks down, pretty soon that's going to be something that is easier for you to pick up on the next time. So when we elevate and sharpen our senses, our intuition is easier to understand, receive, because we can hear, we're heightened, we're sensitive to it. And then number 4, they're all important, but intention setting. I'm ready and willing to develop my intuition. And this requires giving up fear and questioning it and just knowing it to be true. Just knowing it to be true. There's an affirmation on the bottom. I am ready and willing to develop my intuition. So you sit quietly, quiet your mind, outside preferably, so that we can tap into our body. And then 3, we start focusing on our senses with our eyes closed, setting the intention, I'm ready and willing to develop my intuition. The number one way to start changing your life forever and start intuitive living is by meditation. I promise you, it will change your life if you commit to it. There are also divination tools, oracle cards, pendulums, tarot cards. There's muscle testing. There's a sway method. This is used to help and assist you in guidance. But a lot of times people get dependent on these tools and they're not really even tapping into their elevated intuition, but these are super fun and a great way to start. And I will probably be focusing on them a little bit more in the new year, just as a fun little party workshop to go through how to use some of these tools. But that is available. It's more kind of fun. I like doing that. And it was easy to start off with too. So if you are not a part of our Soul Shifters community, please join. And I'm going to be exiting out of this screen share so that you and I can do an exercise together. But I did want to give you the heads up. January 8th through the 12th, we're going to have Intuition Activation Week. I have a huge announcement for the community, and we're going to have a 5-day party to celebrate the new year and maybe a new life for us entering into the new year and becoming more aligned to what we want in our life. Okay, so let's practice something, and I want to see if we can get some of our intuition fired up a little bit, activated. So I'm going to teach you a little trick. This is a method to instantly quiet your mind, like I was talking about. in the first step to receiving intuition is quieting your mind. So 3 things I want you to visually look around the room that you're in and pick 3 things to notice. Okay, so do it with me. This is an exercise. We're doing this together. So I picked up my rainbow fluorite stone. I love this stone, so I'm giving this my attention. Now I've got my lapis lazuli stone. Okay, so now I'm paying attention to that. And now I'm looking up at the candle. Okay, I picked 3 things, paid attention to them. Now my mind is busy and I'm not thinking about anything but what I'm directing my mindfulness to. I'm going to close my eyes and put my tongue on the roof of my mouth. Without raising your shoulders, take a big, deep breath in. And as you exhale, purse your lips and blow out as if you're blowing out a candle. Do another inhale without raising your shoulders, tongue on the roof of your mouth. And as you exhale, pretend you're blowing out a candle. Now on your last inhale, breathe in without raising your shoulders, hold it at the top. And on your exhale, breathe out like you're going down a slide with an audible ah. Allow yourself to drop down. Where do you find yourself? Where is your energy going? Right down into that gut. That's where your intuition comes through. Do you feel it? Do you feel how you're living in your gut now? Now you've tapped into your intuition. And I want you to state out loud, setting intention to connect into your higher self. Ask yourself out loud, how am I doing today? Good. Let's take one more calming slide exhale. So breathe in, shoulders down. Find yourself in that gut. How am I feeling today? Okay, one more slide breath. So breathing all the way in, shoulders down. Drop down into that gut. Feel the energy in that rib cage, that bottom of that rib cage. Say this out loud, what do I want to do this weekend? Okay, now open your eyes. What were your answers? Hi, Amy. Nice to see you here. Oh, I'm glad you feel great. Yay. And what were your answers? And did you feel like they were coming from you or your intuition? Was it more of connected? I know on the first one for me, things started rambling off, but then I got a hit of what my hit was. And I knew, oh, that one was more of my intuition and not just my soul eagerness to tell me what it knows I like. But that intuitive hit came in and it slid right in and told me the answer to one of the questions I just asked. And then also, how did you receive your intuitive answers? Did you hear them? Did you feel it? Did you see them? Did you just know? You just knew. Start paying attention to how you're receiving your intuition. And then you're going to start noticing which Claire you are. And then you can start developing it more. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I love answering any questions. We will be having that amazing full week of Intuition Activation Week here in the Soul Shifters community. So make sure to sign up for that. I'll put the link below. It's also in the featured above events. It's in the above area. Click on that link. Make sure to sign up. If you don't sign up officially for it, you won't have access to the freebies and the homework and all the cool stuff that goes along with it. So please do that. It's going to be amazing and fun. And I have a huge announcement and it will benefit all of you. So I look forward to that. And we'll be back on for meditation next week. Thank you so much for being here. I really love our time together. And remember to always take all of you with you wherever you go today. You are important and you are on purpose. We need you here. So until I see you again, sending all of my love and spiritual hugs. Bye-bye, guys.